You know, I was recording and then I came upon this. A deep sleep. Bodies breaking down into pieces in, I cannot read that word, and cubes. Your head is a pretty, and again, another word I cannot read. I mean, I can try spending 10 minutes trying to spell this out, but yeah, that's what happened to the previous recording. I could not read that for my life. So I'm gonna spare you that embarrassing story and let's jump right in.
Du calme, maintenant. Du calme.
Clearly she's in love with Sonetto, by the way.
Mais je n'ai suivi personne. Je me promenais simplement dans le couloir, comme d'habitude. C'est elle qui était mal intentionnée. C'est elle qui m'a sauté dessus.
And internet.
Je devais
Amazing.
avoir l'air misérable quand je m'en suis sortie. Je voulais juste lui dire que je lui ai lu dans la dernière divination. Les amis qu'ils ont amenés sont peut-être en danger. Et je ne sais pas quand Vertin sera de nouveau consciente. C'était plus ou moins une personne remarquable. Sans compter que c'est la responsable de Sonetto maintenant. Mais je ne sais pas si je dois être en colère ou triste pour ça. Sonetto doit être terriblement inquiet pour elle. Si seulement je pouvais aider. Et ça fait longtemps qu'on se n'est pas vu. Ses cheveux ont poussé et sentent bon.
Sus.
Ah! Qu'est-ce que je viens de dire? Boucle-la! Tais-toi! Tu es Mathilda, la personne qui va battre les meilleurs de la classe!
She stops talking to herself and hears the sound of metals clattering near her. Then a wind, an ice-cold wind. We're gonna pretend that cut didn't happen, right?
Let's go.
A wary voice emerges behind her back. It is a man in a patient's gown.
Who are you?
Your skull is falling. I was picking it up for you.
What are you timber-timbering about? Are you a patient here? Where's your assigned care worker?
I saw it. I saw it all. Bodies breaking down into pieces. Tetrahedrons and cubes. Your head is a pretty octahedron. I can't let your octahedron fall to the ground too. Be careful with your ears.
Matilda steps back and moves away from the patient. She notices an iron collar on his neck, a common auxiliary apparatus in the rehabilitation center. There is a bunch of keys in his hand, with some red stains on the sharp ends. Luckily, the emergency button in bright yellow is located a few meters away behind him. Matilda takes a deep breath.
Thanks for reminding me. I will take good care of myself. See? This is my orb. Come up. Touch it. What's its shape?
This is...
His fingers turn gray and pale, a sign of frostbite. He tightens his fingers around the keys, like holding many sharpened knives in his hands, and charges at her wildly.
I see you didn't learn your lesson then. You have wounded a caretaker and took the keys. I'm obliged to take you down. May the peace be with us.
May the peace be with us, she says as she's about to beat up a patient. Yep, that sounds normal. Sonetto.
Just as what's been practiced countless times.
We don't want Zima, we want him in the back. Sure, let's go Melania DK.
Nothing unexpected. For now.
One round, one wave. You know, since this battle looks like nothing special, I guess I'll see you at the end. And this should do it. Except the internet is amazing today.
I will pray for you. Sorry.
You know, the soundtrack really reminds me of
The
Pokemon
storm
Mystery
took our
Dungeon.
friend from us.
I'm sorry, Sonetto. Please say that again. I can't get her to say it again.
In fact, we all knew this would have happened, but it took place too soon, caught us all off guard.
And there were only clothes left.
That's right. I've looked up the directory of arcanists in the US in 1929. None of their family is on it. She was Greco's biological daughter. Schneider was a pseudonym. I haven't worked out the reason behind this, but she was indeed
Sonetto looks confused and painful.
a human who casts arcane skills.
Thanks for sharing. It could help with my disease analysis.
Mesmer Jr. adds something to her report. She spins around on her swivel.
Timekeeper has been diagnosed with type 2 trauma. Do you know what that means?
I don't know much about psychology.
It means she had suffered the same traumatic experience repeatedly. Even so, she showed no behavioral or cognitive impairment. Back then, as we held her down and put the helmet on her, she even advised me in an extremely calm manner. I agree with your judgment, but it's just for this time. She was the bellwether of the breakaway incident after all. I'll say she's been well behaved this time.
I thought Timekeeper is receiving treatment for her low spirit, but you said you held her down.
Oh, that's just another description of the method used for the same purpose. The aim was to ensure Vertin was unconscious and taken back. That's the direct order from the vice president of the committee, Constantine. The order from on high was given on the premise of rational thinking and consideration over pros and cons. You are not questioning the reasoning of mankind, are you?
I am not.
No, trust me, you will.
Sharing the same set of values is the reason I'd like to share these interesting details with you. Of course, if you were a pureblood human, I would appreciate you more.
She turns her swivel to the artificial somnambulism device? Question mark? I probably butchered that name. My apologies in advance.
Vertin's magnetic field always maintains a nuanced balance. She barely dreams proactively. So I have to deploy different dreams to search for the very first dream which reflects the source of her trauma.
How much longer is this therapy going to take, in your view?
However long it takes. As long as I receive a new order.
Sonetto stands up furiously.
So none of these have been applied for the Timekeeper's well-being.
Yes. What's wrong with you, Sonetto?
I don't know. Sorry, I overreacted. I don't feel quite myself today. I can't tell what's wrong. Perhaps I ate something bad for breakfast.
Go back and rest if you're feeling unwell. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Thank you. Please, take good care of the Timekeeper. I'll be on my way.
Mesmer Jr. watches her walk out of the room. There is confusion on her face. She adjusts her cufflinks subconsciously. The screen suddenly lights up like some Five Nights at Freddy's opener. Particle groups start to flow on the screen. It is a dream initiated by the owner of the body, the marionette, and Golden Freddy appears.
Huh?
My apologies if the Five Nights at Freddy references are are ruining the immersion. It's just the internet is kind of wacky. Trial for the sleeper. Wandering, being unaware of where this is. He has seen everything, but is still in the dream. Wake him up. We're beating another patient, aren't we? Yep, that is exactly what we're doing. We just start with all moxie. Get rid of the fatigue, close the window, scrag the throat that sings. I have to take the duty of your nurse. So we're just back to Matilda beating up a patient. Amazing. Right then, we don't have Sonetto's buff. But yeah, listen to this soundtrack, man. It's so good. It's so good. It's reminding me so much of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
The world
Anyways,
I've
let's
never seen
begin.
before. I believe in you.
The show's on, hounds.
Each moment, now night.
Big boy damage. That's our Soneto.
Legna sereno intenso ad infinito.
Unfortunately, the other two
I'm
are
with
single
you.
targets.
Even for a great people.
Which, yes, it seems like we're gonna be beating up patients throughout the series. Amazing. 10 out of 10. First, we beat up kids. Now, we're beating up patients. Yep. My type of
Off
game.
thou go. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Thou shalt make an atonement for thy sin.
In full. I like that addition, man.
Whew, that went smooth.
Exactly.
Trapped in a natural dream or an artificial one. Complete. Alright. Claim those tears. Black sheep wall. So she mustered the courage and jumped high into the air. That was when the seed was planted in her heart. I'm assuming this is about the frogs? Maybe.
In 388 BC, standing in the garden paths of Athens, there was an academia of philosophers. 36 human ideologists presented that day were thinking about the ever-present old question, just as you are. What passes knowledge? What maintains the world's balance?
Oh, trust me, today's youth don't even care about that.
Students, don't forget the exhortation from the philosophers.
They're philosophers for a reason. They're not scientists.
Heritage, honor, rationality, responsibility.
Cult behavior, I swear to God. The principal nods. He holds out his hands like a conductor.
This will be your lifelong pursuit.
May the peace be with us. May the peace be with mankind.
He's pleased with the responses.
Last year, 45% of our graduates were chosen to work in the St. Pavlov Foundation headquarters. A particular excellent student has even been accepted by the House of Integratus. The rest of the children, too, have become frontline investigators, staffs a foundation office in other countries, or professional soldiers dedicating themselves to the magnificent cause of mankind. For thousands of years, we have taken in countless young arcanists from workhouses and foundling hospitals, and have raised them to be outstanding students and morals in every industry. Soon, you will also be the backbone in preserving world order. And
There is one student standing out in the neat line of students. She's in the wrong line, or say, she is never in any lines. Sandwiched in between two neat lines, she looks like a pipe organ stop that has fallen out of place.
do you have any questions, Burton?
No?
Then why aren't you standing in the line?
I'm sorry. I just wanted to see you clearly, since your speech was so wonderful.
The principal watches Verton walking quietly back to the line.
Burton, you are the youngest child we've ever taken in. You were just a month old when you came to the school, and by now you've spent almost 12 years in here. I'd like to hear your thoughts since you are the most unique child in the school. Whatever the question or opinion is, I will respond with an answer.
Boy, you are about to regret that. She stops.
Any question?
Of course, as you wish.
What is the storm, sir?
A piercing sound. Okay.
May I ask, how much further do we have to go?
What?
Till we get to the guardhouse.
We're almost there. Don't worry.
Okay.
As your punishment, no dinner will be served tonight. You will stay here until tomorrow. Someone picks you up at noon.
You know, quite a wild punishment, even though the principal said he would answer any question. But sure, I digress.
Okay.
I won't ask you how you knew that word, but you have to promise that you won't mention it again.
I promise.
All right, here we are. This is not some friendly place. The arcane skills I taught you before may help. I hope you have paid close attention in that class.
The instructor gently pushes her back.
Get inside. Think carefully, or next time it won't be just confinement.
No wonder we start by beating up kids. Verton got beat up as a kid. A damp, muddy room. Water keeps dropping onto the ground intermittently. I cannot read, bro. This is why I ended the previous recording. The ground is covered by old footprints in disarray. Buzz, buzz. Something is wiggling in the dark.
This is... the Shamir one.
Under the dim light, these worms, less than 2 inches, are crawling across the ground towards her. Towards here.
So cool. It said that the Shamirs are marvelous creatures. Even King Solomon searched for them for years. They're incredible engravers, more skilled than the greatest craftsmen among humans. They can engrave on leaves, metal, and gemstones, build a sacred temple, or destroy a giant vessel. But now, they've become tools for punishing naughty kids.
A round Shamir firstly crawls up her calf. Interrupting her thoughts, it starts to do its work.
It hurts. There are at least a few hundred Shamirs here, and they're all moving towards me. The instructor did teach 2 incantations to repel insects. Shamirs are not any ordinary worm. They were in fact a kind of advanced critter. The elementary arcane skills won't work on them, let alone there are no signs of my arcane abilities up till now. Maybe I'm not an arcanist at all.
The second Shamir has successfully landed on the moon. They are hard-working twins.
Ouch! Please don't bite me 2 times in a row. No, stop. I have to focus now. There must be a way I can think of.
I would look around, honestly. Patting the Shamirs off and thinking.
Water keeps dripping down from the side of the ceiling near the window. But it hasn't rained for days. Here is a thin layer of mud on the ground. Judging from its volume, it's not likely to be brought in by other children who were once here for confinement. The dripping water has made the ground uneven. For these tiny worms, these descending areas are like impassable gulfs. Could the ground be left like this so as to slow down the worms and give us the time to cast incantations? But why would they gather around my feet? This is...
It is not mud on the ground. The floor is covered by a heap of grains and corns, which take up 1 square foot of the room. Under such dim lights, one can hardly realize that they are standing on a pile of mushy oat brands and corns.
Is this their food? Turns out their route has been planned already.
A yellow wool blanket lies in the other corner of the room. No Shamirs have yet approached there.
Wool? Oh, so that's the case. The legend says that the way to store Shamir worms is to wrap them in wool and store them in a container made of lead, which means the wall of this room should be made of...
Picks up the wool blanket and wipes it on the wall. An off-white mark appears on the blanket. It's alloy, quickly forming a film on the surface. This has to be lead 2 carbonate.
This This is poisonous to them. Well, to me as well.
I like how she just looks at the floor. This is when a handkerchief comes in handy. It would make a good mask and glove.
I have everything I need. Drains to lure them and walls to drive them away. The solutions are more than I expected. All right, let's move. Expel them to the corner.
Now let's see, what do they actually look like? Are they huge or are they very tiny? What's up with the soundtrack? Yo, Apple, we're gonna need you up here.
There will be some differences.
We bring
between
Zima,
Fury
and in the
and
background,
Kai.
I guess we could put the source, but I'll put
Alright.
Eternity.
Just one thing. I
You
would
can't see me. You can't see me.
So there's 5 enemies, 1 round. You know, I hope this isn't their real scale, because if that is, sheesh. So they have really high defense. You know, one thing I hate about games is when they just throw you high defense enemies
can't
and
agree
you're just
more.
left there wondering, is your DPS bad or something? But hey, it looks like we're doing actual decent damage to them. Hooray, I
Careful,
guess.
young man.
You know, another mechanic I don't like is, let's say your unit has a attack, right? That inflicts a debuff. And then you know, stumble upon this this enemy that is just, you know, immune, and so you're saying you can beat every normal critter normally, but when it comes to bosses, they're just immune to debuffs. I find that common in gacha games, and I don't know, I just felt like talking about it. So let's buff, give ourselves high attack,
My sword sharp.
disarm that guy. Seems like Zima attacks these things with elemental advantage, so we're gonna try to remove the elemental one, mineral one, and then we're gonna beat up the star one. Which Sineto already does way more damage than Zima, it seems.
Be careful, young man.
We kill with Apple.
can't
We're gonna
agree
save the
more.
ults for the remaining enemy. And okay. We're gonna buff with Sineto. We're gonna kill with Apple. And I guess we're just gonna chip damage this one.
I know them all. And this is
And
an
so on the
easy
next
city.
round, we just dump the ultimates.
It's just great.
But yeah, since Pavlov Foundation, not a good place.
The world
I
have
can
never seen
already
before.
sense Sineta's just, I don't want to say betrayal,
I
but
can't agree more.
I can definitely sense her priorities changing. It's not like Vertin has been a avid follower of St. Pavlov Foundation since day one anyways. What? There were 2 more? Bruh. 3 more even. Well, whatever, seems like Apple hits them really hard. Let's give him a insane attack buff. Boom.
I believe in you.
Boom. Boom.
Recklessness only
This
lasts a
should
second.
be
Long
enough.
lives this,
Should, I
and
say.
this gives power to thee.
The star falls towards the sun as the apple drops to the ground.
Okay, half HP.
Były szczęścia.
Zima does the rest. Amazing.
Хорошо. I'll go back then.
No cutscene. Really? I was expecting more. Seems like the next battle unlocks the better Sharpedanti node. Trial with the city builder. Lead, ash, wool, and grain. One of these will work on them to some extent. Drive them away. So I'm guessing this is just another battle, huh? Yep. Well, I'm not gonna waste your time. We're gonna beat him, and I'll see you in a minute. Never mind. Place the wood, felt ahead. Stay in the corner for a while. Okay, yeah, we're back to the battle. I'll see you in a moment.
Oh, affirmative.
So long lives this, and this gives power to thee.
A ravishing rainbow.
An apple a day keeps the doctor away.
My sword, I believe in you. Sempre caro mi tu quest'ergo cole.
sempre caro mi su quest'ermo cole.
It's just Greek.
A sword shop.
Oh, affirmative.
I know the moon, and this is an alien city.
White? Or say, fine. Which matters more?
And that's that.
Knowledge or strength?
You know, before I end the episode, the tiny sound of gnawing is nowhere to be found. They have left, at least for now. It's completed. Yep, I said it before the episode ends. I will see if there's anything more. There's not only darkness, hunger, silence, the dim light, and little trouble. Aside from these elements, a standard guardhouse has to have two other things. Critters which are not too difficult for kids to handle, and tools for the kids to solve the problems. The interior of the ground house will be examined and evaluated regularly, and every week people will come to maintain the facilities and clean it up. However, some words in childish handwriting were left in the room. They were written on crumbled little notes or on this corner of the wall. Look like hints, or were left there for reasons which are unidentifiable now. For some reason, these fragments of information were never completely erased in frequent cleanings. Yeah, we're just casually torturing children. Scottish. Okay. So we go from British to Scottish. Amazing. Amazing. Let's claim our rewards and check the lobby in case we unlocked anything extra. No? Nothing?
I hope that
Nothing?
in the future
Are you sure?
I can also
Right? That's it? Okay, good. Good to know that the episode ends here. I'll probably do my dailies and weekly right now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye.